Neptune, are you going to be cursing any teams today? One thing's for sure. I'm going to cheer on the team. I just won't mention their name.
Continuing the tradition, okay?
How?
We kind of have to jinx some team at some point.
WC content program. If you haven't already, make sure you do so. Esports Foundation Creator Program. There will be a QR code at one point that's going to show up. Make sure you scan that and join it. You can earn rewards. And if you end up being in the first place, depending where you are on that leaderboard, you might end up getting interviewed by us on the final day of Free Fire. So go and join the Esports Foundation Creator Program. And while you're at it, make sure you also check out the website for EWC and the app. Put in your predictions. Who's going to be winning? Because I know nobody predicted some teams hit us yesterday. Maybe today it will happen again. We'll have to figure it out. But if you do end up doing that, use the hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26 of any fun stuff that you enjoy here, because we're definitely going to be having even more fun. And as Conchita just said, we'll be cursing some teams at some point. Neptune won, because Neptune's going to be, we're going to be pretty much be Sherlock Holmes.
I don't know what that starts with an A, I think.
Maybe not. Let's take a look at the overall for Group A, though, because this group, I mean, Buriram started off consistent. And just to remind everybody, the way that this is going to end up working out at the end of the day, especially after this 6 matches for Group A, the top 4 will end up going to the finals, where we will have Champion Rush. From 5th to 10, they'll end up going to Survival, and the bottom 2, sadly, we're going to be crushing their kitties. They're going to be going home with Conchita. I know you want to be here with us, but I feel like you really want to be down there crushing keys.
You know, as an EWC newbie, it is so exciting for me to finally see the key crushing live, but also I'm devastated for anyone who has to be in that position. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy for that, but yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, it's dangerous down there. I don't know if you know, last week we actually broke the handle and then all the keys just fell into its depths. So yeah, I mean, you can have eyes on an absolute chaotic sequence of events.
That's what I'm all about, I think.
Well, let's take a look at the overall ranking that I was hinting at earlier. There you have it. Buriram United Esports with those 3 booyahs, 132 points. And from the top 4 teams that you're currently looking at, Neptune, I mean, Gun Dynasty, they're able to be consistent and be in 2nd place after 6 matches, even though they didn't get any booyahs.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of consistency and placement points as well as getting those elimination. And look at how close they are on Buriram United Esports. It's just the position they're taking. It's one thing that to know for Gun Dynasty, they are first time that we'll be in here, and we didn't expect anything from them. So I guess low expectation is an element surprise for the team right now, and they're just capitalizing on that.
And some of the other squads that are very close to getting that threshold right. We have Loud in there in 5th place. We got Team Falcons as well. Lace, I know you want to talk about them. We're going to be talking about them even more later on, but they do have a gap to make up if they want to make it within those top 4.
Yeah, you know, they got a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on their shoulders winning that club championship, 2 years in a row. So it's going to be, you know, just something that, I mean, you got to get that more mentality in and try and obviously overtake some of these heavy-hitting teams. But making that lead, you just want to try and get into that top 4.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Since we're talking about Falcons, let's continue talking about Falcons, because this what definitely needs to make sure they fully improve, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it yesterday. They have a tough group. Gun Dynasty and, of course, Buriram United. Falcons finished yesterday. Points, 22 placement points and 67 eliminations, but not a single booyah. And we want to be seeing those today, Falcons. We will be seeing a lot of pressure on Fire, as he's like the only player remaining from the EWC Club Championship winning roster. So when we're talking about a pressure cooker, on Fire needs to bring it for the rest of the team. And, you know, they will need to lock in with consistency with both placement and elims if they want to be a part of that top 4 conversation, because I think they ended, about 26 points behind the top 4 cutoff. They're about 31 points ahead of Aurora. Sorry, actually. So they do have a significant gap to be able to get to that top 4, so they don't go to the survival stage.
To be fair, though, I mean, first day was more about reading the game, adapting to each other's strategy. For some team, yes, Tone, they came out with a bang, but for some others, it's more like testing the waters, seeing how everybody else is doing. And yeah, maybe today everything might get slightly better
They
for
dipped
them.
the toe in, they need to jump in. Let's do it.
It's kind of chilly. We're gonna take our time.
Yeah, I mean,
Dive
it's warm
bomb
waters of
yourself.
Paris, okay? They're just dipping the toes, getting comfortable with things.
But it's not question about reading the game. Some of it are writing the game because they are consistent enough. Like elimination-wise, it's really difficult for the teams to get that, especially with how tough the teams are right now. It's more position as well as rotation that they're working on to be able to make sure that they can get in the final circle. And not a lot of teams will be able to pull it off. They just need to be tactical, silent, and deadly at the same time.
Oh, I like that. One team, that was able to do that yesterday, especially, was one that you were actually hyping up. And you kind of going on a trend here, and I like what you were doing, Conchita. And it was none other than RQ, because that squad. So it's kind of tying in with what you're saying. Hopefully, Team Falcons will be able to do that. But I think we need to focus right now on the second page. Aurora Gaming, we're just going to pass you real quickly because I'm going to be looking at those bottom teams. Honestly, those bottom teams need to do something because, as I mentioned, the last two teams of this group will get their keys crushed.
Yeah, Titan Esports Club and Demons Pride. 38 points and 30 points. That's quite brutal. Titan Esports just managed to score 25 elimination points, whereas Demons Pride, 14 elimination points. Like I said yesterday, I stand on what I believe there is a total gap, an obvious gap that is happening between some of the teams that are included in the Group A. And I still think that it is the harder group compared to the other one. But I don't know. What do you think, Neptune?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that can be done right here by these teams. It's not just consistency. It's playing it safe right now. Though from what we're seeing, elimination, they're trying to catch up, but it's placement that they're position-wise that they need to do right now. Going back to the basics, just find final circle. And it's one thing that everyone is underestimating, and they need to go back that.
Yeah, we saw it with just Paradox Gaming there. Like, I was watching sort of their playstyle throughout it, and they're getting placement. But the elims, it was like 22, and they've got 41 points. So they are managing to make it to the final circle. But as we saw in like a fair few maps, so is everybody else, because it is just them trying to solidify what in zone to then pick up more of those elimination points. But I feel like if they can more take the elims at the start, then go and focus on their rotation, because they were just going straight to zone, which isn't sort of working out for them, being bottom three.
Yeah.
They're on the cusp.
And you don't want to stay down there because as it gets later into the matches, the pressure is going to start to build up too. We might end up seeing teams parking the bus in a way kind of like England was able to do yesterday, and we saw what happened. They didn't end up qualifying. So you don't want to do that, and you don't want to wait until the end because the pressure will be there, and you're going to have teams just doing crazy things. One team that might end up doing just that is none other than Gun Dynasty. Let's see what they had to say.
Hello everyone, I'm Yusul and welcome to day 2. Right here, I'm next to Vega from Gun Dynasty, and here's our Zippo, our translator today. So I heard this is the first time Spanish joined EWC 26 in Free Fire, right? And I wonder, how do you guys feel, and have you guys prepared everything to get into the top 4 today?
Han escuchado que esta es la primera vez que un equipo de habla hispana está en una final de Free Fire en IWC. ¿Cómo te sientes al respecto y cómo te has estado preparando para el día de hoy?
Pues nos sentimos con confianza, siento que nos va a ir muy bien hoy, mejor que incluso ayer, y que se trata de preparación y de cómo están saliendo las cosas.
We are really confident. We have worked really hard to get there, and I think this is all about how much you've prepared and that good things are going to happen to you.
Wow, awesome. Sending a lot of looks for you guys today. And one more question I wanted to ask. Do you guys feel pressure when you step into this battlefield? Because there are so many strong teams in our Group A today. And how will you guys manage all of it?
¿Sientes algún tipo de presión cuando estás en la arena? Porque hay un montón de equipos muy fuertes. Y en el caso de CCA, ¿cómo haces para lidiar con esa presión?
No, como equipo y como jugador individualmente no sentimos ninguna presión, sentimos que estamos jugando como si estuviésemos en casa, como si estuviésemos en un día cualquiera, y que esto se trata solamente de confianza en uno mismo.
As a player and as a team, we don't feel any pressure at all. We feel like we're playing like at home, like it is any other day. So I think this is all about how much you believe.
great because, you know, when you play on a stage, it's really different from playing at home, right? But hearing his answer, it makes me feel so good about him. So thank you so much for your interview, and also thank you to our Zipo as well, and good luck to you today, Gun Dynasty. Thank you for your listening, and now let's explore more in EWC 26.
Well, Gun Dynasty, we're expecting that same attitude today. Not being nervous, not feeling any pressure, because one team that didn't feel the pressure yesterday was none other than our reigning champions. And they started off hot. They were able to get a booyah on the second match. But I know today, PS5 story of the day, Evos, they want to see what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, of course, because if we go back to what happened on day one, the highest score EVOS had was in game 2. I think they got 12 placement points and then 17 elimination points, and that was the best of EVOS, the best game that they showcased the whole day. And I think the teamwork between Russia and the other supports are working so much better towards the end. And actually the thing that separates EVOS from RRQ, if I can say that, they do have the mentality to stay calm, to bounce back from the mistakes that they have, whereas RRQ usually takes a bit more time. It takes them a bit more time to be comfortable, to be okay with the mistakes that they did. And EVOS, that is definitely the reigning champion mentality that they have right there. It was a slow start, but then again, after a few bad calls, they finally started to climb up the ladder and continuously, consistently get the points that they needed.
And something to keep in mind, too, with this squad is that they are currently in 4th place, right? So I'm hoping that today they're not going to start feeling the pressure right off the bat. They showed yesterday what they were able to do at the start. Did you see them possibly crumbling since they're right there in the 4th place, going directly to the finals or going to survival?
Actually, it's quite the opposite. I'm still pretty sure that EVOS has what it takes to go straight to the next stage without having to go through the survival stage. 111 points, 70 elimination points. That is quite big for EVOS. And I'm not saying that just because I'm Indonesian, obviously, but I do think they have what it takes. Again, it's a slow start, but I think that's where it's different, because when we see the way of the other teams are playing, the other Southeast Asian teams are playing, they came out very strong. Let's say Buriram United Esports, they bring out the big guns from the very get-go, but EVOS, they try to at least read the situations first. They try to be comfortable with it, and that's exactly what they did. They got better and better and better each game.
One team, Neptune, that's going to be hunting them down, making sure that they get within those top 4 is going to be none other than Lao, the Brazilian squads. It's not just Southeast Asia here. Brazilian squads have been able to show up, and I know you're keeping a close eye on what Lao is going to be doing in regards to their game skills.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now, you did point out Evos with the numbers. Loud is now 4 points behind them. So there's a lot of things they can do right now in this fight. But just to look up on what they did in Val, they're one of the teams who managed to bring in an A1-2-4 combination together with Oscar as well as Steffi. So with that alone, you can see the intention. They're not going aggressive. They're just playing it safe. And I guess with that, they're just, as you mentioned, testing water. So this is where they might switch it up to a more aggressive play when it comes to active skills as well as position-wise. But hopefully that will not be read by other teams.
You know what? You cursed the team yesterday. We're gonna blast
my God.
team. Which team are we gonna blast? I need a quick answer though. Lace?
Oh my God.
It's a quick. Okay, Neptune.
I don't want to say anything. Oh my God.
She's gonna go with an Indonesian team. Okay, let's just play it safe here. Let us know in the comments below what you're gonna be going for, because day 2 of Free Fire AWC 26 starts now.
Welcome to our second day of Free Fire at AWC here in Paris. The stage is set and our teams have their sights on the grand finals, but the only obstacle in their way, just 11 of the best teams in the world. After only 6 games today, we will have the name of our top 4 teams who will qualify directly to Saturday. But remember, Luti, this is the Esports World Cup, so our eliminated teams, their keys must be crushed. And so the battle at the bottom today, it's going to get spicy. So without any further delay, let's introduce your first 12 teams to the main stage to kick us off, starting with Aurora Gaming. Team Apex Gaming. Your reigning club champions, Team Falcons. AGL. Buriram United Esports. Your defending champions of NWC, EVOS Esports. Demons Pride. DRS Gang. Paradox Gaming. Titan Esports Club. Loud Snickers. And finally, Gun Dynasty. Don't forget, if you want to survive, your only goal is to avoid these bottom two spots. Words couldn't be truer. 12 teams enter the Gadia City grid, but only 10 will make it out alive. The stakes just got higher, so it is time to make your move. It is time for day 2 of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup. Four of the most dominant teams in the world will step onto the Gadia City grid for the first time today. Teams who swept through their regions and left their opponents in the dust. But now they stand at the base of a mountain faced with an almost impossible climb. Let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
The damage comes through, and Loud, all they have to do is just rush forward, and they're completely surrounded from every single angle. And Loud, once again,
There might be a lot. They turned it around, and Box is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult. But also Box trolling Anali along with the help of MIB Alliance. And it's going to be MIB Alliance getting the very first booyah of Group B. Cororo looking for that recovery, and they will be denied as Buriram pulls away the third booyah of the day to take the number 1 spot on the leaderboard. And Lion are losing players one after another, and as that happens, even Dix gets eliminated, and James King was the last man standing. And it is going to be MIB Alliance getting the final booyah of Group B's Day 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Free Fire at Esports World Cup 26 here in Paris, France. And you know what it is? Day 2 of the group stage, which means that hopes will be crushed and dreams will continue to be built for the survivors. We have 12 teams from Group A, but only 10 will move on forward to either the survival stage or the grand finals, depending on their standings. My name is Husky, and I'm joined by Lucifer here with some 6-7 performances from some of these teams, but that's not the spot you want to be in. You want to be in the top 4 because you want to skip the survival stage, which means you skip 10 games.
Exactly. It's going to be very crucial that you get yourself out of this grinding of a survival stage. Well, we say there are 10 games, but then those 10 games are not going to be easy at all because everybody's looking forward to another 4 slots tomorrow. Hopefully, they don't go there. They make it out here itself. And especially we've been talking about Group A, which has teams being the toughest ones, the ones who've been the champions, and they walk away into the finals itself. The other teams will have a very big trouble going into the survival stage.
And that's ironically something that a lot of these squads are hoping to happen.
Yeah,
right? They are hoping that the heavy hitters, the front runners, make it world better. And usually you don't want to hope for it, but in this case, for some of our hopefuls up here, some of our first timers, they want that possibility. They want to increase their chances. And speaking about chances, Gun Dynasty, they're looking good. They're feeling confident. They believe that the hard work will pay off, and I personally believe in that as well. Yesterday's performance was great. Now we need to see them push it through the finishing line.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier as well, right? Southeast Asia versus Brazil. I think that's where the entire competition right now seems here at Esports World Cup 2026. But Gun Dynasty for Latin America, they're coming out of the mix, out of the blue, and nobody's able to read them. And especially for a player to tell that we're not at all feeling the pressure. This is the usual stuff for us day in, day out. That is unbelievable in such a high, intense, high octane stage.
Yeah, I can't believe. I think it's like the mental fortitude and the prep that they had, right? First time stepping onto such a big stage and having such confidence. And why wouldn't you be confident sitting in second place just behind Buriram United Esports, who are at the top, of course, with 3 Booyah elimination points. But if we take away that 3 Booyah, Gun Dynasty that far behind, right? They are only 3 eliminations behind Buriram United Esports, followed by AJL, and then our defending champions with 25, which is Evos, Lao Snickers as well with 2 Booyahs under the bag. Team Falcons catching up in the later stages of Group A. The top 6 look incredibly strong, but then we see the separation between 6 and 7.
Yeah, big difference around the 6 and 7. 58 points is where Aurora right now start off, and that's almost around a 30-point difference. It's not going to be an easy jump up, and that is the reason. Like, yes, at the end of the day, we're going to be going to the Crusher to take away. It could happen for some of them. They have to jump up, and in terms of those dreams, has to be the Southeast. That is Titan Esports Club and Demon's Pride. They've not at all had a great start. For Titan Esports Club, they have eliminations working for them. It's the placement points that they've started towards. Maybe there's a move up. They manage a chance towards the survival stage. I think that is a hit they have to look forward to.
Yeah, you got to get into the flow state for the next 6 rounds. And we actually, even during some of the team intros, we saw the South Asian teams, right? You can feel the nervousness, right? There is some tension in the air, and hopefully it breaks when they hop into the lobby. Yesterday was all about getting comfortable, right? Getting the seats warm, and hopefully when you sit back down, you are in the zone. You are feeling comfortable enough to let yourself go and just play freely. And I think that's the toughest part. People always say that you play the best when you have nothing to lose, when you play freely and have fun, but it's pretty tough when you have so much on the line.
But Gun Dynasty, it doesn't seem like they're thinking in that direction at all. They've been completely keeping themselves away from that thought process where there's a lot to achieve, a lot at stake. This is our time on the stage. They are not thinking about it. They're making sure they put the best performance of Free Fire ever seen on the biggest stages, and they're able to deliver. Sitting at the second spot, 3 eliminations away from the team at the very top, tells you the caliber that they're walking here in Paris and looking forward to their global title, taking it away from Evos. Evos, yes, got their Booyah, but is it going to be enough for them?
And I'm going to take it a step further, Lucifer. They're 3 points difference in terms of elimination compared to BRU, right?
Yeah.
So the main difference is the placement. Because if BRU have 1 less Booyah, Gun Dynasty would already be at the top. And actually it's closer than it is. And if you put that into perspective, it's a very scary thought. You said that, for a team that is on this stage, they play freely with as if there's no pressure at all. For a first timer, that is even more insane. So right now, I think hopping into today's games, the map rotation are going to be slightly different. Yesterday we did have the more Indonesian heavy favorite rotation in the second half, but today we get double purgatory. And you know what that means? Brazil and Thailand are going to be elated, but we'll start it off again with the classic opener of Bermuda to hop into game 1 of Group A on day 2.
And this is where every team needs to start, especially the ones in the middle order, as well as the teams at the bottom. If they don't start making points now, they will not be able to catch up to the race, especially because now the Crusher is in front of everybody. And the map starts off, evening the entire
playland into our half. And even if you look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the amount of booyah some of these teams have acquired for themselves. I say some, but 6 booyah split amongst 3 teams. We are, of course, holding the record, so ever get into a tiebreaker situation, they will have the innate advantage. But most Free Fire tournaments, Free Fire matches, we didn't have to go down that path because it is separated by eliminations. So those gun power are going to be very, very important. We see some early skirmishes already. The players getting hyped out. DRS, a team that wants to get up from the bottom, starting off right.
The real soldiers. They look decent. I really like how they played. We were talking about them yesterday when we were sitting backstage and looking at their games. They start off well. They have their one-off games, and they did that yesterday as well. EVO's right now on a team that needs to get to the top spot. That is going to be Falcons. They're firing on them. Elimination. 3 totaled up. This tells you why they're the champs, why they're the defending ones right here on EWC. But now challenge coming in from Pina. He's already taken one down. Damage big time. And I think Apache is in big trouble. Glue walls help him out, and then running around the glue wall, he puts Pina down.
Bailed out by the Mini Uzi in the CQC. The full spray down onto Pina. 4 points for EVOS at the start of this game. But Falcons not out just yet. In fact, the whole team has been brought back, so we're back to square one. DRS though continues to rack up points by picking up stragglers. This time from Paradox Gaming. And even Windy himself catching Alu out in the open, but again the Mini Uzi is the superior weapon.
What an individual battle being laid down by DRS. Looking very confident today, and this is how they played their game number 1 yesterday as well. And I think this is very consistent performance coming in, especially with the teams from Nepal. This is something that I expected when I was seeing these South Asian teams play out, and DRS are delivering. Can they deliver to the top 4 is the question, but right now another one. And this time Pratik, he will not be able to take a hit because this time it's going to be Team Apex Gaming, who we spoke about, slowly make a comeback, and it's already started off fighting the very first, and that's going to be Shoto, but his trouble is still not done. Around the pipes, it's going to be Stroex, who was trying to trouble him, but Shoto out in the open, not the best position to be in. But there are reinforcements. That is KD God, the IGL. He has to stand with the team today, and he finds the opening.
And you had your opinions about these 2 teams that both started off good. For DRS is they are like the early round wonders. You need to see more consistency, but for TAG, they need some time to warm up. And I think it's falling into place for now as AGAL finds themselves a basically isolated Axo. So let's have 4 point. Rest for Gaming out of there. June will have to drive along the coastline. But AGAL, we know when they smell blood, they are going to keep on hunting. So we'll check back in there just a little bit. TEC taking over the compound, and Jazzy able to launch back to safety.
Demon's Pride still haven't found their openings. No eliminations, rather have lost 2 players. A Swab will be finally revived, but KD God on the other end. Troubling DRS. Titan Esports Club versus Demon's Pride. Both these teams are at the bottom. Both of them need points. But in the mix of this, the last player, Jun, gets found, and Aurora are out again.
That was scary. For half a second there, TEC going for the chase and almost gave away a 1v2. Thankfully, not a reality. Now, Apex Gaming continues to hunt for Pratik. And he getting the bison on the KD God. Instantly a recovery there. KD God going down again. Ruben getting some magic done here. There is some recovery towards the very end, and thankfully, TAG continues to thrive.
4 eliminations in total. KD got with 2 of his own, and this is what we need being delivered by him. He is the pillar of the team, like we were talking about Mafia from Total Gaming yesterday. KD got does that for this team, and as I said, slowly but steadily they pick up pace, and it seems like they are moving in the direction. Yesterday we did see one of the games where they did find eliminations around the double digits, but it's not going to be enough. Today they have to rake up a lot of points because the difference at the top 4 already sits at triple digits.
I gotta keep up to that, live up to that name, right? Yeah. If you call yourself KD God, you better rack up some numbers here. Even for Titan Esports Club, they are now currently in 11th place. Last we checked in on them in the overall standing. At 4 points already. That is, in all honesty, in a lobby that already started slower than what we saw yesterday is a good thing, right? My personal prediction is that teams like BRU, they are going to slow down a little bit. They are already in such a comfortable spot. They're not going to be hunting for much. And this is actually a very good opening for teams at the bottom or the middle of the pack to start racking up some points.
Hands down, that's right. This should be an opportunity that the teams in the middle order should pick up points, and that's what Paradox is trying to do. Already found an opening on Team Apex Gaming. Will confirm the elimination KD God, but quickly being hit upon as Shoto, putting down Sneaky for his sneaky approach on his captain.
Paradox still having members around. It's going to be windy now. Enrique out in the open. Shoto wins out on that exchange. And Enrique now fully alone, not in sight at all, as Paradox getting pretty much separated on the map. And this is great for Impact Gaming. 7 points under the belt.
Looks really good. They're playing together and it's working out. 7 eliminations, as you said. On the other end, Paradox, depending on their 4 eliminations that they got, they were also confident. But this is how the exchange goes. When the middle order teams finally find their fights, they're not completely sure about the top teams versus their own teams that they're fighting around the points for.
When we go down the food chain, it is going to eventually come down to placement, right? Like the longer it takes for teams to get removed from the lobby, the harder it is to back those placement points. And finally, we see the heavy hitters bring into action. Rasha completely ran over by Jonah there. The Valiant dash from the Oscar doing most of the work. Evil's Divine, or Evil's Esports in this case, not really looking for a fight. He lost Rasha, and that's what Evil's has been doing, I think, yesterday as well, where they were sending Rasha out on a one-man mission, and he's been holding the fort really well alone as a sniper.
But Team Apex Gaming right now holding their own side on in Shoto, putting down Gun Dynasty. We were thinking about this trouble that might strike Gun Dynasty. Shido trying to run away. Won't be possible. He's already spotted out. Last man standing right against the blue wall. Finds an opening. Going to be enough. His numbers are not that great. And Team Apex Gaming find another. That's going to be 10 total eliminations for them. And Benel is the last man standing.
And Benel, coincidentally, is also the star of the team as he gallops away to try and find some safety net. Dinoculus used to scout out the journey in front, and for now it is clear. Might run into Takuri if he goes slightly further, but don't have to do so. Vending machine available. GD not out just yet. And this was something, a concern that you brought up before the show started, right? That Gun Dynasty, they had a great start. They were really confident, but there's a chance that they drop out of top 4 today. And this might just slowly manifest itself. We check back with them in just a little bit, with Madara getting absolutely fried in that hut, with Limit watching from the side as well. The rest of Falcons about to surround them. Prey Madara with the Shogun, only good on the one. No confirmation there as Falcons take him out.
Losing players. Demon Sprite, they need eliminations. They need points. We spoke about this. Titan Esports have at least picked up, but Falcons on the other end, they know what they want. They want to get to the top 4. They are right now missing on the top of the charts, and that's the reason they're running right now. And they've already spotted top 6 because they've been laying down glue walls. Guerrero troubled a little in the meantime, but I don't think top 16 will have an opportunity. On the other end, Team Apex Gaming.
Wow.
They again re-challenge Paradox and put the entire team out.
And talk about a strong start as you check in the STC replay here. Demon's Pride, unfortunately, is caught in the cross, caught in rotation by Team Falcon. And of course, with the Skylar in hand, it had a limit. It was easy pickings. Falcons breaking up 10 eliminations, entering the double-digit club. 10 teams remain. We did lose Aurora very early on, like what we seen yesterday. Paradox being the recent casualty. DRS still in the lobby, but with only one survivor left. Brimnam finished completely taken over by the Falcons as they make their nest here. We can expect a bit of a rotation afterwards because the circle did move to the eastern side of the map.
Eastern and completely southern, and that is the reason we end up seeing teams here. But Falcon now have another trouble in front of them. The ones who they are sharing the overall rankings with, that's going to be loud in front of them. Takuri, the last one who is in the deep waters, will also be found out. And with that, DRS are out. But right now, with the bot maker being called, the fight breaks out between Falcons as well as Loud. Snickers, they want this fight. They want to get back and make sure they stabilize their position. As we said, SCA versus Brazil, they want to Brazil. It's not happening. It's a quick exchange. But BZP, he manages to confirm on P now. That's a very crucial opening to taking out the CQC player.
He also spotted the rotation of Guak. So Limit is not going to let it out of sight. Nix actually finds Limit the backstab. Perfectly done, and BZP back up on his feet. Loud Snickers outdoing Foro on the run with the last man. BZP not able to find a track. Falcons escape with the tails between their legs, but not fully clipped yet. Pina was brought back, but Loud Snickers now take control.
What a fight that was to hold it off and DZP to put Limit on that. If he did not find, because Limit was already fine, helping his teammates out with the sniper, and that is the reason taking out bits and pieces of Falcons worked out for Loud. First take down the CQC player and then go for the one in the long range made a wonders. AGL on the other end, sneakily, they've been pulling up eliminations for themselves, 7 eliminations, and I think in the top 4 so far that we've seen teams, AGL are
the ones who are very consistent, safe and sound, and not troubled by any team so far.
Same as BRU, right? All of these teams have been chilling a bit. We say that they have been taking it slow, but then when you look at the eliminations, AJL actually has 7 eliminations off screens, and most of it is just picking off stragglers and catching teams in rotation. But most of these teams, they were able to get those rebounds in, and this is why we still have 9 full squads, almost 9 full squads left for Demons Pride. BRU now making their rotation just past Pochino. A good chance that they run into GD again, who has been giving them some problems yesterday.
Gun Dynasty, yesterday has been a problem for their own. Hopefully they soon recover. But right now, Demons Pride, this got a problem in front of them. That's going to be allowed. A quick run with a boost in the vehicle they took, and they take the compound right next to Demons Pride. 3 players, Jazzy, Swab, and Madara. They have to figure an approach because Loud have been looking louder than ever here on day 2 for the top 4 spots.
Absolutely. And it seems like Demons Pride are thinking about standing their ground, but there could be intervention from Evos, who are right behind and is silently watching this go down. We see the UAVs being sent out. I think Lao Snickers are doing a good move. This is a very classic pincer, right? You surround the compound and suddenly whoever is in those buildings becomes the one that is trapped. DP are starting to feel that pressure.
Yeah, today, I think Gun Dynasty, while they did not feel any of it yesterday, it is about qualifications. It's about keys at stake. It's about making it to the final. And right now, even the Esports Club on top of the silo start putting players down, doing the damage, and Evo's helping out over there. Unfortunately, one of the eliminations was stolen away, but they still have the eyes on the Falcons. The verticality has changed. Falcons are on the ground, whereas Titan Esports Club are on the roof right now.
Yesterday we got very generous circles, but I think today things are going to only get worse.
Look at the final circle.
I mean, the circles right out in the open, right? Not good. If you are not comfortable with these CQCs out in the open, if you are slow in the decision making, that is going to be the difference maker. And I think it's a very good time to put our team to the test. Who can survive a circle as brutal as this?
Yeah, an open circle, and if you're able to stand your own, especially in game 1 of day 2, that gives you a lot of confidence moving further. And that's what Team Apex Gaming have done. They started off great, but right now they have a challenge. All gamers global want to find an opening. Plethora of throwables being all tuned towards Team Apex Gaming. Flash trees, nades, but now counter activity coming in. Push down AGAL. Shoto in the forefront using the dash. Wants to find opening, but AGAL are not giving space.
And they took care of the UAV as well. Medica to Q Shoto back up. The tip of the spear for TAG lies in his hands. Barrow's getting flanked out. Sahuja almost getting the takedown. That could have made a world of difference here, but it does put up. The tip of the spear for TAG lies in his hands. Barrow's getting flanked out. Sahuja almost getting the takedown. That could have made a world of difference here, but it does put AJ out in a dangerous spot right for the Cypher. And manages to break this fight wide open. TAG down 1, second one on the ground. KD gone now. We have to dig deep and find something, but AJL will be the one that prevails.
That was brilliant caliber and holding position played out by AGL. They held that ground even though they were at a disadvantage at the edge of that peak. They were still holding it off against Team Apex Gaming. Would have had an opportunity, but I think that being a little spread out became a disadvantage for them. But right now, spreading themselves around, we saw already this rotation coming in from Loud, the smartest one. They're ahead of Demon Spread, and now they have vision. And Evos are also being troubled by Loud, and now even Demon Spread, Trap already getting closer. He's already found an opening on a swap. Jazzy, he's also down. Trouble now for Demon Spread. Last man standing in the net from Trap. The M79 strikes death for Demon Spread.
And off-screen, Team Falcons also dispatched by BRU, and now they turn their attention over to AGAL. Namas did get popped early on, but it should be a recovery. Titan Esports still has Blade around. And is he sharp enough to cut through the ranks of the Goliaths and out in the open? This is going to be tough. No utilities, 2 glue walls, and only 5 medkits. As BRU will also have to make a break for it. Once more Dory out of this, they exit straight into the line aside of Loud Snickers and potentially Evos.
This is what should not happen on your day 2 where you're looking forward to qualification. All the top 4 teams are still surviving. Buriram, AGL, Evos, and Loud. It's only Titan Esports Esports Club, all the way at the bottom, who has the last player standing and he doesn't have any position in the zone. So a lot of points which could have been acquired for teams for qualification are being missed out. Blade will be spotted, quickly taken down by Cypher, and we come down to the last 4 teams and all of them are in the top 4.
Wasana taking Nate to the face, but getting top back up by the therapy. The support system always solid there. Get high, getting sniped by Cypher. But BRU focus on loudspeakers and there's a fatal mistake as loudspeakers and AJL work hand in hand for the elimination, and now they turn on each other.
ATL, they are inside a circle. Yosha gets taken down. Cypher wants to put PCP down in the truck. Is not being able to do, but finally that strike coming in from Dew and Evo's Divine helping out as well. Nix becomes the last man standing as Evos go out. Cypher is already spotted and wants to whack him out, but Nix is trying to isolate this fight. He moves it down. Players are falling down, and eventually it'll still be ATL. They have the numbers and they get their very first booyah.
Very first booyah in the group stage, and even without it, they were in the top 4 spot. So imagine when you give AJL such a big boon. Fantastic performance. We saw the hold earlier on where they came back from a disadvantage, and it was all because of one minor detail. Barrow surviving in the back. If you don't break the backbone of AJL, they will break you instead, and that is exactly what was achieved. Them and Lau unintentionally working together to get into the BRU, but then AJL found a perfect engage onto Lau.
Yeah, I think there was an opportunity where Loud, if they had a chance to recover after the fight, being at the edge of the zone, it could have been their booyah as well. They've all done so many yesterday. It could have been an added on third today.
Yep.
But ATL's position, we spoke about it, even in a position where they had to climb up the hill against Team Apex Gaming. If that did not work out, you would have seen ATL go out very early on. But they held their own, they held their front there, and it worked out. And now they've gotten their very first booyah here on day 2, especially the top 4 hurts the middle order.
Yeah, but definitely flowers that need to be given to the teams that are in desperate need of points, right? In TEC, TKG, well, they came out strong. DRS as well, right? There's some great stuff happening, but let's listen in to what AJL were talking about leading up to that booyah. Performance from AJL that I think shook the opener of day 2, but I would say, right, this goes back to the potential of our secondary scenario. If this trend continues, then might as well let them go through. Let them go through, and we have some of the teams who are chasing for the qualification to grand finals play tomorrow. An extra 10 games, but I guess without these heavy hitters being a big threat, it makes the chances slightly better.
It makes the chances slightly better if you think of for the survival stage, but as you looked at the performance right now, the bottom dwellers, the last 2 were there, even Titan Esports Club and Demon's Pride, they try to make it towards the top 6 teams, meaning they're acquiring placement points, they're getting eliminations, and they're trying to get themselves out of that elimination threat, meaning the order, now it's completely dicey. So you don't know who's going to get eliminated, so better be very, either you strike towards the top 4, or you don't know if you're going to get eliminated or not.
Yeah, there's always that safety net, I believe, for any, Free Fire competition, right? If I can't take that want to qualify, the bare minimum, I make it out alive. And so if you can't aim for top 4, aim for top 10.
But I'm not sure if it's going to be as easy as it sounds or as easy as we make it sound. Because look at Gun Dynasty, they were barely able to get 2 points in this game. That tells you day 1 and day 2 can be completely drastically different. It cannot replicate the same performance, and that's what even AGL, you get their very first booyah, allowed to go out like that, tells you that teams are slowly strategically planning their championship. They want their trophy, their key put on the shield.
Yeah. More impressively is how this group was a group of teams that basically they enter the boxing ring and they just start swinging, right? This is filling their arms and get some haymakers in, and then maybe after 6th round of just mindless brawling, they decided, okay, that kind of hurt a little bit. We got to slow down. And the teams that actually made it work are the front runners. AJL, very patient. BYU, very patient. Laos Lakers, very patient. And patience paid off.
Yep, completely. The top 4 teams surviving till the very last, and also being the last 4 surviving teams, that patience, that holding game off, actually playing as survivors, and knowing that they don't have a lot at stake to go out. Whereas Gun Dynasty, something that we were talking about, if they miss their performance today, and if Falcons rise up the ranks, they might get pushed down. We already spoke, yes, they have high number of eliminations, but that's not going to cascade and help them out to directly qualify if they don't put up a decent performance today.
Yeah, I would say that they do have a safety net with the points they have, and let's see how much longer they can lay in that bed of roses. We're going to let them lie down and rest for a little bit, as we'll be right back with more Free Fire action.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. India City, powered by Play.
What an intense opener. AGAL secured the first booyah of the day. We are now back on stage with Miko and Chitaganalit, and of course, we have Yunso here. That was exciting, right? Yeah. What a game, what a match. I mean, what even is that last circle, Yunso?
That was crazy. That was really intense. Imagine we have 5 teams, very strong teams competing with each other. And lastly, only one survived, which is AGAL. And so incredible. I have been watching them since yesterday until finally they got their booyah. I was waiting for that for the whole day.
Yes, the thing is that AG actually scored the highest elimination points the other one game, and that was the 5th game. They got 9-10 points. I'm pretty sure they were able to be doing that again today, hopefully. But seeing what we just saw in the first game, I think things are looking quite promising, right?
Yes, from what I can see from yesterday, they have been playing very stable, even though there's no booyah, but still, as you said, the elimination points was on point, on peak. They were doing so best, and today, finally, after game 1, they got 1 booyah, but still, the first ranking here is Buriram United Esports, which is 149 points for the first ranking. Well, this is our stage sheet for the after game 1. Thank you, Conchita, and thank you for your listening. Let's head back to our casters.
Thank you very much, our lovely angels, Yunsu and Conchita. We got a lot more in store here at the Free Fire at EWC 2026. Again, Paris can only get more and more lovely with these actions as we quickly drop into map number 2. And this time we're going to change it up a little bit. We did mention earlier on that the map rotation will be slightly today, and AJL have started off strong with a booyah. So let's see if they can keep that train going.
It is Solara that we drop down to. And another opportunity for the teams at the middle order as well as at the bottom. And you can already see a quick swap because of how Titan is played. And we mentioned this. They need placement points. They instantly got it. And up.
And now they're in a great spot. Yeah, we cool. We complete each other's sentences. But I will say that whatever we sort of like set up yesterday is slowly coming true, right? We talked about Demon Sprite needing to come up, and again, taking up 5 with Paradox early on. It's Aswap wiped out first Enrique. You see here, he has great survival instinct from game 1, but top 16 hunts him down. Aswap instantly brought back. TEC now joins the fight. That is a team that we've been watching out for at the start of day 2. The Jot and the Prey of things. Rahat also coming in, and Blaze slicing through the ranks of Demon Sprite.
Oh no, Aswap in the mid-air has been spotted by Gun Dynasty, and he will be taken down. Demon Sprite are losing players once again. Paradox get eliminated in the mix of this. And Paradox, who just got pushed to the bottom 2, will also suffer another loss right at the start of our game 8, match 8.
Talk about kicking them while they're down, and they are out. Paradox, a very unfortunate early exit, completely swarmed by multiple teams in earlier stage. Whether it's desperation or change of pace for some of the bottom dwellers, it has been working out in favor of teams like Apex Gaming, Demon Sprite, Titan, DRS. I mean, even what you able to pick off a couple stragglers on their own, but it does come at a cost of teams who are just half a second slower to respond.
DRS want to be the quickest one to respond right now. They didn't spot AGL, but they take the fight at Titan Esports Club and their charge is taken down. And it is the wisest call I feel right now coming in from DRS, and they're making a run for it. Rahat and Blade, they just have the stairs that they are being picked by, but DRS, they are on a charge. They want to go for it. Haru was backing off, uses the chrono and is now safe and sound, but at least this gives away a position of where the players from Titan Esports Club are. But it's only these two. The other players are in the other direction, revived and are healthy.
Runting's actually getting pressured as well. Forced to take the zip line away. Takuri actually getting tagged in the meantime, was brought down. But this was sort of like the demise of Paradox Gaming. A very quick and painless one. At least they take the bottom spot. Aurora still in this game, which is a blessing in disguise if you are a Malaysian team supporter here. But Blake just absolutely popped Rasha. Great shot from afar. Rahat caught in for reinforcement. Aurora this time stand their ground and will not be taken up by AG in the earlier stages. Jun up the stairs. Cypher barricades himself safely and acts with the follow-up. Cypher is out.
He'll be confirmed. It's up to Barros and Dew, who's in his flight mode right now, dropping in air. If he gets spotted out, trouble will strike. And Aurora, they need a game like this. They need a recovery game, and it might happen on Solara, where everybody's forced for a fight. Barros tried to hold his own, but will not be able to. At least the revive happened. Therefore, there is still chance for AGL, and they don't have to be worried about. However, Aurora, they needed these four eliminations.
The good news for Aurora is that they're not close to the bottom two. But the bad news is that they technically only have 5 games to play, because game 1 they didn't really get anything done. So the catch-up game, there's a lot more urgency for them compared to the rest of the teams. But one of the teams that is in no rush at all is Evos. So far playing on Solara, it's one of the maps that they are slightly more comfortable in. Loud Snickers, playing a Vinistroax, completely found out in the open. Loud Snickers with the first point.
Loud are playing, I think, a brilliant game so far. Ending up in the top 4, making sure they stay the top 4 way that they are in, and it continues that they make it to the final as well. We've already been seeing their counterparts from Brazil. They might be a loss in touch, so they're keeping their toes matched up, and I think that's what Loud want to do. And if that's a majority of all the Brazilian teams who made it here to EWC, all going to the finals, there is a big chance for them to walk away with being called the champions.
It's a lot of pressure also, because when we look at, even I want to say from the earlier days until now, you would expect teams from Thailand and Brazil, if they qualify to a tournament, expected to all make it to the grand finals. It is quite the weight to shoulder, and especially for Loud, who has been on the big stage. They've missed out. They're not, they don't have 100% attendance, but when they're there, a lot of eyes are on them, right? Yeah. Aside from Fluxo, like Loud is the second team that you sort of want to make it to the finals and give a good match, but it has always been so close.
But Aurora also want to make that happen, and that's the reason this challenge happened now. Jun's loss, that is Russia coming in.
No way!
Two is also down. Confirmations, Aurora losing players one after another. That's Russia for you. Once again, he was back in action as Real spotted. God puts him down, and it's the Axel. Can he put the chopping block out of Evos, or will he be found out? Damage done, HP lost, his position completely compromised. It's just the border and the direction that he's running away. I don't see a vending machine to help, nor a team to help out. And Axel will just try and bite time for the time being, because Evos have a distraction.
Yeah, Demon's Pride bailed Aurora out of that. It was a missed opportunity. Aurora had that bit of a mechanical error, caused him to be in this spot, but again, Demon's Pride, who are also hungry for some points, they ended up being the intervention that Aurora desperately needed in times.
This is what I was talking about. You see how the bottom teams are now fighting for eliminations. They will go for teams that are already getting the best.
That is the best part right now of this lobby. Desperation is a double-edged sword.
Yep.
And he has been empowering some of these teams so far. The risk, definitely not as great as the reward. Good ratio there. Even TAG finds himself on the feed. Just a quick reminder, at the end of this, 2 teams are gonna have their keys into the crusher.
Yeah.
Always a sad side, because man, such great accessories. But that's the nature, the brutality of a competition. Let's see what this circle brings us, because game 1 was brutal. A little bit more tame, but plenty of open areas.
Open right now is going to be a fight between Buriram and Evos, who just got revived. However, it's only one of the players getting stuck between the lot of Buriram and Eco Drain. I think he'll be found very soon, but team finding players are tagged. That's Team Apex Gaming. More eliminations coming their way. They're climbing up the ranks, making sure if they have an opportunity, but they
To remain in the top 10 and make it the survival stage tomorrow. DRS looking for rotation, Loud doing the exact same thing, but they might be beelining straight into Demon's Pride.
Demon's Pride, they just got eliminations from Evos. They have a compound that they're holding. Looks to be a better game. Loud have just... In the meantime, they're finding the players of Evos, and Evos seemed troubled after they were over to Demon's Pride. Wherever they try to head out, they've been spotted, taken down and eliminated. That's being chased by AGL, and he will be put to rest as well. And that is Evos losing their players. One last survivor is Aim God. Only gets coins now, but where is the vending machine? On one end there's Buriram, on the other end AGL, and right in front now Demon's Pride as well as Loud going in for the fight, and it's going to be Loud putting a swap. Their players, one last survivor is Aim God. Only gets coins now, but where is the vending machine? On one end there's Buriram, on the other end AGL, and right in front now Demon's Pride as well as Loud going in for the fight, and it's going to be Loud putting a swap down, and the entire squad within a fifth gets eliminated.
A full blitz from Loud again. Their execution and these quick hits are so efficient. They make sure that the fight ends within 15 to 20 seconds so that there's time for them to recuperate if the second team does arrive. It's something that has defined Loud's play style in competitive Free Fire. The one that gets brought back, but that's the most that Aim God could do for the team. And right after that, Shell finds a pickoff. It is the same situation that Evos frequently find themselves in, playing the survival game.
As of now, I think that's the mantra for them. They're unable to find a footing to just go for fights, and they've been just chased by teams. Put them down one after another, and DRS wanted to start out strong. The real soldiers maybe just get a grasp of information around. They spot another Troy. Stroex. He is the sniper. He's the one who has a lot of value. But so far for DRS, at least today's start in game number 1 was decent. And out of that, Solara right now hasn't found much.
And it's a team that is also a first on the EWC stage as well. Finally, getting what people say they deserve over their counterpart back in the region. AGAL now facing off against BRU, the same face-off as round 1, but we might find an early ending as Jonah with a good hit on the few. Saifa still pushing forward and support from his teammate Wasanado will win that fight, and this time BRU, they will show AGL, and once is enough. Barros is poking it out of there, but has to go into the blue with no coins at all.
You could see how clever that fight was. They used the Steffi, no throwables that could have been dropped by the side of AGL, went in for a 4-forward fight, guns all out, and Buriram had the better of it, and AGL could do nothing of it. It's just very strategic play coming through, and this is what makes champions. And you mentioned Buriram, they want their cabinet with an EWC trophy, and this could be one of their opportunities.
Yep, it's the final piece of the puzzle, and how poetic it is. And the final piece of the puzzle is fitting the key into the plaque. It's going to be a lot of stories being completed. I think again for BRU, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for that to happen. Alua ends up stepping on a landmine. That should be the end of DRS as Guashap on Pratik. Point number 7, number 8 for the Brazilians. DRS, they're just trying to put up a fight, but unfortunately, not enough firepower in this case.
Trap mentioned it's time for Brazil. It's time for Loud to get this trophy, and he is doing it for the team. Playing together, the last man makes a run, but how far can he run? Loud have another challenge. That's going to be Aurora this time. Back and forth. The compound was cleared. Demons played out. DRS came for a challenge. They were pushed out, and now Aurora. Is the story going to be any different? Loud are going to get elimination. eliminations after eliminations, and highest so far here in Solara. They're sitting at 9 in total.
Property value of that compound is going to keep on increasing with so much of visitations. KD got with the help of Shoto was able to take out Barrows, and that spells the end for AGAL in game 2. 8 teams remain. Falcons still healthy. Sharu getting chased down. It's Gun Dynasty not really having the best of time, and Pina finds third point for his team.
One last survivor from Gun Dynasty. That's the only one right now. But on the other end, Aurora. This real estate, as you already mentioned, it is just louds. They've written it down, they've cemented it, and it's going to go down ages, at least here in Solara. And they're at the dead center of the circle, so nobody's going to push them out. Maybe the circle itself decides to make a very hard shift, and then Loud would have to change the position.
And even, well, they don't have to, but the circle, consistent with what we've requested, at least for today, give Loud a bit of a compound, but most of the safe zone is out in the open. Dynamic is scanned out, so someone knows that Loud is in the compound with 12 eliminations to boot. BRU should show up on the radar any time now. I believe the Dinoculus, it's a good chance it came from EVOS or even TAG, who are now making their appearance. Can Loud hold back the third wave of challenges?
Team Apex Gaming, they need this point more than Loud. The challenge has to be very critical on the hit. DRS were in the same compound, but Loud were able to turn it around. And yes, a little active in terms of their approach, going a little ham against Loud while there were landmines all across. And even right now, the Gatling gun being placed to internet could be trouble. Riptide on the other end coming in from Falcons to break the defenses of Buriram. Spotted out in the open was Jonah. Off with his teammates, making sure this fight instantly doesn't replicate to eliminations on either end.
I mean, Team Apex Gaming a lot more patient. Something that I think is going to be the main difference maker between what we saw from Aurora, right? Well, a lot more in your face, wanting to make more moves. Falcons also starting to feel a bit up that DRS, planting themselves on the low ground. It's Ray out in the open, would pick up by Guaksha. So that's the 13th point for Loud Slickers. But the rest of Evos, even if they get through Loud, they still have to do a DRS. AMAX, what was that?
That was a big surprise. Nobody expected him to be behind enemy lines. And Rasha being the distraction. And he's still fighting. Abax gets another player from DRS, but they instantly put blue walls and stall that at least for the time being. Abax, can he find more? Rasha on the other end. These two players on two different directions trying to corner the team, and Rasha spots Falcons. Damage being done. Finds the knock. Can he find a confirmation? No, again, blue walls being blocked on any approach coming in from EVOS.
And Rasha himself, one of the 7 eliminations at the heart.
Buriram now decide to go challenge and get closer. Falcons trying to hit shot, but none of them connect, and Buriram make it safely.
And the result between BRU and TAG comes down to how much can Falcons change the course of this battle. The blue wall from BRU will give them some space to work with. Wasana being given one more blue wall as he did random sources, but BRU decides that they can't bomb rush this. In fact, it's TAG that responds on the Falcons. Folks use as well. BRU now arrives on top of the roof. The repossession enabled by the can't bomb rush this. In fact, it's TAG that responds on the Falcons. Russia freedom, and now he books it for the building where Loud and DRS are fresh at. Contract being used as well. BRU now arrives on top of the roof. The repossession enabled by the chaos. BRU now in prime spot.
However, Loud are taking away those eliminations, stealing it away. Damage being done by Buriram, but Loud, they are getting it all. It looks unstoppable. Russia is in a very compromised position. So Loro from Falcons. How drastically this fight changed from Falcons winning it to almost now losing it. And now Team Apex Gaming, they're taking a rush out in the open. Kiroro has nothing to say, and Shoto finds it. And right now we have the best 5 teams looking forward to points. Falcons are out of the race, and Team Apex Gaming now move to that prime position.
They will have to relocate because the circle decides that will be the case. EVOS eliminated down to top 4. And TAG ever so close. And so far they will be. DRS under Captain Jonah. BRU under pressure. Wasana responds from long range. They need to a safe space. TAG now needs to catch up.
Just like how out in the open Buriram made their rotation, even Loud managed to, with a plethora of blue walls, lay down the land and they walk across. They're closer than ever. Team Apex Gaming in the meantime, just because Loud decided to rotate out earlier, now they have an opportunity. Jonah finds Takuri, the last one from DRS, and now Team Apex Gaming have an opportunity because Loud and Buriram are close together. However, Get High is shooting the players of Team Apex Gaming and not letting them slide down the hill.
This is the final lap of Apex Gaming, and hold my hand, Lucifer, because we might be witnessing history here. Top 3 teams, 2 of the front runners still with the full squad left alive. But Team Apex Gaming have the high ground. They have couple of moments, couple instances where the blue zone will make the difference, and TAG, they are in such a prime position to get this kickoff.
Loud, they decided to make a rotation earlier than Buriram, but Buriram had the position and Loud out track because the zone's closing in. Blue was now working out, getting on, finds the opening.
And they do it here. TAG, the faster they get rid of Loud, the better they are for him, and Loud, you know that the Brazilians, they don't back down and they're ready to take that fight. It would have been nice if it connected, but now Loud are out of vision, and BRU into the fray.
Team Apex Gaming there, and there's Loud have a safe spot. BRU are out in the open.
They carried him.
It's breaking the defenses one after another. Shoto has had a great start in this game. 5 eliminations already, and again he got hit again. Make it Get High. Fight one more. Team Apex Gaming are all consistent by Loud. Loud are taking away the eliminations, and Team Apex Gaming will not be happy about this.
It's looking good. TAG have a chance. Jonah being pressured by Lau. The distraction they eliminated. TAG in the spot to make history here against Lau. BZP in the front. Shota with the first one. Can they find a conversion? Lau to the low now. Close side now. BZP to follow. Team Apex Gaming makes history and gets the first ever Booyah on the world stage.
This is a very big booyah for Team Apex Gaming. We spoke about their comeback. They start slow, but they make it happen. And especially to do it at Esports World Cup 2026 planners, the biggest of stages. And Team Apex Gaming for India make a big booyah.
Yesterday we talked about this. Dreams come true one step at a time. And I'm glad we held hands for this moment. What an achievement it is for the region. They needed some time to warm up, but once those seats are warm, TAG entered the flow state. And with impeccable execution in the final circle, they took advantage of all these openings given to them. Openings that cannot be missed, but they were on the ball, Lucifer.
We spoke about this, right? Prime position, real estate, all of it. One after another, every team wanted it. Loud started it off. Buriram went for it, and then finally Team Apex Gaming found the very best spot. Falcons, this is why we were talking about it. They were the ones who should have been a booyah here, but they messed up in their movement, and it was Team Apex Gaming took that same position away from Falcons, took the last player down, and they get this booyah, and thankfully in such a manner where they were ahead of the zone, up the hill, and this time they get it.
Incredible stuff here. You can really hear the passion radiate. The crowd, they were feeling it. They knew that once we got into the top 16, AG is a prime candidate for that booyah. And this is what the Esports World Cup is all about, man. Unpredictability, the volatility, but this final sequence, TAG, I could rewatch this all day.
All day, all long. Brilliantly played out. Yes, they tried to pick an opening, but it did not work out as brilliant as they wanted. Holding it off, Kiri, Godsai, Ajat, Shoto, the big man. What a play coming in from their end. And yes, as I said, this is a very big thing for them and the whole of India to look at.
They are going to be incredibly proud, but we're going to let these teams again prep for the upcoming games. And for now, we're going to hand it over to Carol on the stage, and she has something for us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carol Michelle, and we are back on stage, and I'm happy to have this company here by my side, Nameless from AGL team. Thanks so much for your time. And yesterday, we noticed that you guys got so close so many times to get a Puya, but unfortunately, you didn't. But today, happily, you guys managed. How did it feel to get your first Puya in the competition?
ก็เมื่อวานนะครับแบบว่าหลายครั้งเหลือเกินที่เราเกือบจะได้บูย่าเนี่ยแต่ว่าไม่ได้สักทีนะครับแต่ว่าวันนี้เนี่ยเราได้ปลดล็อกที่ได้บูย่าแรกแล้วเนี่ยฮะรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับครับก็รู้สึกปลดล็อกครับแล้วก็รู้สึกว่าทีมพวกผมพร้อมนะครับที่จะเป็นแชมป์ Yeah, I feel like we have already unlocked something and I think we are ready to become the champion tournament.
I like your confidence. That's definitely the way to talk. Okay, so after finishing last year in the 5th place and in the 30 in the global finals, you are getting closer to win an international tournament. And of course, together with your whole team, does it feel like this is the moment to get over the line?
ก็ในปีที่แล้วนะฮะเราได้จบในทั้งที่อันดับที่5นะฮะแล้วก็อันดับที่3นะครับใน global tournament นะฮะในปีนี้เนี่ยเราขยับเข้ามาอีกขั้นหนึ่งแล้วที่ได้เป็นแชมเปี้ยนนะฮะรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับก็รู้สึกว่าปีที่แล้วทีมนี้ไม่มีผมครับปีนี้มีแล้วน่าจะเป็นแชมป์ได้ครับ Yeah, I think like because last year he not in the team yet, but this year he's here already, so everything should be fine now. Okay. Are you sure? All right, I trust you. Okay, so there is really some tough teams on the way, of course. Burdan, Fluxo, maybe Arlos, all look very strong. Who do you think is the biggest competitor right now? ก็ตอนนี้นะครับมีหลายทีมเลยที่บอกว่านะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น MIBR นะฮะแล้วก็อีกหลายๆทีมครับคิดว่าตอนนี้ทีมไหนเป็นตัวที่คู่แข่งที่น่าจับตาสุดครับน่าจะเป็นฟุกโซแล้วก็เราครับ Yeah, I think it'll be Fluxo and Laos, which is like the most competitive team.
Only Brazilian teams? Okay, I like your answer. Thanks so much for the interview. Good luck in the next matches and the rest of the day. And that's it. You heard from Nameless from AGL team. And I'm back with you guys at the studio.
We're gonna get fined. There's no way that this is gonna work. Don't worry about it. That's absolutely the bed. I don't understand it. Keeps getting allowed to take control of the space, and nothing is done about it. We're gonna get fined. There's no way that this is gonna work. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We do the thinking, okay? I cannot believe this. Up on this team. Every time you thinking, oh my God, and
You know what? We're actually just going to be bringing you the same great coverage once again this year. Nothing else. First KC fans try to sabotage me, now my own agent.
I hope our reactions for that game were not recorded because there's a lot of stuff that we were saying that's not going to be able to be broadcasted. But in with they have a start and then they move up. Also in the last two games they plummeted. So hopefully there's a different story right now. Starting it off in game number 2 with that Puya. And it's good elimination as well coming from them. And it was almost the same story earlier wherein they could have taken a higher spot, especially in game 1. But it's just unfortunate that... So the story is AGL as well as Team Apex Gaming, they scan each other with the binoculars. So AGL was just waiting for them to rush in. And the moment they did, they got... Red almost got them as well, but it's a good thing that on game number 2, Team Apex Gaming managed to recover.
Yeah, but always, I have to appreciate how Loud is also doing so well in the first half. I mean, that last circle was amazing. Yes, they were in a bit of a compromising situation. They got low ground, but they they managed to make it work. And I mean, getting that points, 19 elimination points, and then previously 14 elimination points. This is the consistency that we need, and of course, we expected from a Brazilian team.
And while we were talking about Loud, one of the things that we were mentioning too, that we especially were talking about Neptune, is their positioning, right? Yesterday, at one point, it looked like they were just getting gifted, but you can't gift it when this squad is continuing to just be consistent in their location and their placement during those circles.
And most of the time they go out and choose the middle of the map. That's get information, and not everyone is following that path. So pretty much they are in the same spot already once everyone is in position, or as soon as the next phase covers the following one, that's where they will be able to rotate onto the edge of that. It's a good strategy for Loud Snickers right now, but I think even Brilliant United in game 2 tried to do the same thing. They went in the south, and that's when they met AJL and took them down.
Yeah, and what's interesting for me was that battle between, was it Tag against Buriram, who was trying to do something at the very last minute, but unfortunately, they were the one who got wiped out instead. And that was actually kind of shocking to me, because Buriram United Esports, we all knew day one they were amazing, they were super aggressive, they set the tone, but something went wrong today. I haven't seen the same Buriram that I saw the other day.
I mean, I was expecting this. Most of the time, like, we have a three-way battle, especially of this. We're expecting a ring around the Rosie, but I guess they didn't find Rosie at that point. Brilliant United together with Loud, and great elevation though has been done. Though it is the Tag who initiated it, we were expecting that Loud might be able to go in quick, but Team Apex Gaming was just an Apex predator on that final 4v4.
They were literally all over the place.
Elimination in the second game, despite of not getting that booyah, total points rather, the 10 elimination at second game, despite of not getting booyah, they're still in at number 1. But, and some teams are creeping in slowly, and they're making way on what Brim United managed to pull off, studying their opponents and then bringing them down.
Yeah, especially with what we've been talking in regards to the gaps. If you're just tuning in, if this is for some reason the first time you're watching Free Fire at EWC 26, let me just remind you what's going to happen after these matches are done for Group A. The top 4 will be moving on to the grand finals. And let's take a look at those top 4, because right now, Evo's is that cutoff point. You can see 139 points. They do have a healthy gap there to Gun Dynasty. Team Falcons as well. This is one team that I think we were expecting to step it up in the second half, especially coming up soon. Maybe that will be the turnaround for that squad, because they do need to make up points.
Yes, but I don't think 5 points is that healthy, actually, especially with the rest of the game that we have. I'm just not sure that this is quite safe yet for IFA, so they still have to try somehow to be more consistent, at least in getting those points, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, look at that century mark in terms of elimination for Brim United as well. And a lot of teams trying to do the same thing. Trying to follow the path that BRU has been playing. Now, most of them are just playing it with placement point, positioning wise, but BRU just understand what they need to do right now. They're countering, they're going against the flow.
Yeah, but it's also getting ridiculously dangerous for Paradox Gaming. I mean, let's take a look at that. 48 points. They fell behind time. Just 2 games today.
I mean, there's one thing about Paradox Gaming, hopefully they let go of their aggressive still kind of
The A group. Yesterday, it was all about aggressiveness. It was all about showing up, showing strength. But today, they are playing it a little bit more strategically. They are trying to be more consistent in terms of collecting elimination points instead of just, showing up at the back.
You gotta get those elimination points.
Yeah.
You wanna get that booyah. This is what we're after. I mean, yesterday we even had a competition in regards to those booyahs, and we've been seeing the comments that you guys have been posting on social media. You guys actually heard us use that hashtag EWC. And if I'm not mistaken, we might be featuring some of your guys' stuff right now. I'm intrigued to see what which teams are going to be biased towards. We're totally not biased whatsoever here.
We are not. So not. We're supporting everyone.
It's not like we want all the top teams to continue to do great and take that performance. But you can see it right there towards the bottom.